second. What? Yep, there are levels. Perfect. Excellent. All right, let's rock and roll. It's good to be back. Back with Mr. David Hastings. You can't see him, but he is here with us in mind, in spirit, and in voice.
And verbally.
But I hope he's back in the studio with us next week. But until then, how you doing, my friend?
Not too bad, my man. Not too bad. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good. So, yeah, a lot to get into. So I just want to jump right into it with you because it has been an absolutely crazy week as we hit championship week here in football. And, yeah, this week to me, and I'm going to see if you felt the same way after, because we haven't talked since the end of the divisional round, or the divisional round, right? Because it was, and then they went to championship.
Since we previewed it, yeah.
So since then, going into last week's game, Stidham starting for the Broncos because Bo Nix breaks his ankle. So the matchup everybody probably wanted to see, two young quarterbacks going at it, instead got Jared Stidham, and not much offense is what we all figured from the Broncos. So that being said, I'm going to position it to you this way. Did you look at it? Because I did. I looked at Sunday as the pseudo-facto Super Bowl. Like, to me, like the Rams-Seahawks game was more of a Super Bowl game to me than what we're probably going to even get in the Super Bowl. Like, that was, to me, the two best teams left. And not to crap on New England because they've had a great year. But I just don't think they're there yet. I don't think they're ready yet. Like, and I don't know if they would have beaten a Bo Nix-led Broncos team. You know what I mean? So, all of that said, I really looked at the game between the Rams and the Seahawks as the kind of de facto Super Bowl. Did you see it the same way?
Within reason, yeah. And not to, I mean, I think the one thing I 100% agree with you is I think they were the two best teams left out of the four still standing. But I mean, New England is a good football team. You know, it's second year quarterback in Drake May, which, definitely not sure if he's ready to go win a Super Bowl. But I mean, if you think about that defense and their run game, and I mean, they have some of the pieces it takes. But I don't think that they're better than the Rams or the Seahawks. And I think we're going to come out of the Super Bowl and say we were right about that, and the Seahawks are going to be your winners.
Yeah.
But we'll dive into that next week. But in general, yeah, I do think that it's fair to kind of call that the pseudo Super Bowl. What
an absolute game that was. 10-7. Like,
well,
putrid.
Everybody came out after, like, not everybody, but I saw a lot of people coming out after that game, and they were saying that, honestly, that game is the perfect example of why conference championship games should be played on a neutral field. And I don't know, I think we're pretty much the same in this, but the elements are part of football. Like, I don't want to see every team play in a dome. I want to see snow. I want to see rain. I want to see wind.
That's part of the game.
To the elements. Yeah, adapting to the elements is part of the game. And we sit here and, you mentioned, a couple weeks ago with Myles Garrett breaking the sack record. Like, does that have an asterisk next to it because he had an extra game? Like, and you want to change the game. And I understand offense and fantasy football and gambling all drive the revenue of the game, but the game is a game that is meant to be played in the elements. It's like telling me you're going to play a hockey game, but you're going to put, you're not going to always have frozen ice or like something. Like, you're just going to change how, like, it's part of the game. That's probably a bad example because you can't do that with hockey in any form or fashion. But like, the elements are part of the game, and you have to be prepared to adjust to what Mother Nature mixes into the game itself. And when it's all said and done, New England knew that they could play field position, and Denver wouldn't be able to move the ball in that weather. And look, they had 2.5 quarters of just light drizzle or light flurries and some wind. Like it turned into a blizzard into the fourth quarter. Like New England had to play in the same elements, and they were smart enough to take the points on fourth and short next to the goal line. And Sean Payton decided to go for it and didn't get the points, and that cost you the game in the long run. So I don't think I don't like that mindset. I think it's lazy and it's when we pick our games, right? You talk about rooting for points. Like, yeah, of course, I want to see touchdowns and scores and all that, but I'm okay with a defensive battle that is played in the elements. So yeah,
I'm okay
I
with a
mean,
defensive battle played in the elements too. Don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not opposed to an elements game, but just tell me this: you don't think this game would have been different if Bo Nix's playing?
Oh, I 100% think this game is different if Bo Nix plays, and maybe New England still comes out on top. Maybe they don't, but yeah, I think you would have had a better game. I mean, he hadn't thrown an NFL pass in a regular season game in 2 years. Like, but he came out, hit a 50-something yarder. 3 plays later, throws a touchdown and gives them a 7-0 lead. So
yeah, and then it was all
they came
downhill from
prepared.
there.
Yeah, but they did come prepared. It is
they
what
came
it is.
prepared for
So,
one drive. One drive.
yeah, that scripted drive.
They worked really hard on that drive all week in practice.
Yeah, but I think overall I would agree. Yes, I think your better two teams played the night game, and your better the winner of those two teams is probably going to be your Super Bowl champion.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's hard to deny either of those two teams. Both the Rams and the Seahawks both look good. I think the Seahawks have enough of a defense that they're going to be able to compete with the Patriots defense. So, I mean, I look at it as the Seahawks to me are the surprise team of the year, but maybe I shouldn't be saying that. And maybe I should just be coming to expect it, because this is 2 years in a row now that Sam Darnold has come in and shocked the world. This is 2 years in a row now that he's come in and had led back-to-back 14-win teams, and it's been two different teams. Two completely different organizations. It's kind of special. Must be nice and if you're looking back at it, is this really just like you think about it, he was drafted by the Jets. He was drafted by quarterback purgatory. He was drafted by quarterback hell. Somehow made it out of there. Kind of took a similar route to a Baker Mayfield, in that he had to go to Carolina first. For some reason, you got to make that dip in Carolina before you can really get out. And then once you get out, you seem to do all right. Look at what Baker's been able to do since he got out of QB hell in Cleveland. And now what Darnold's been able to do back-to-back years. If you're the Jets, do you not look back and say, we had this guy. We drafted this guy. Why couldn't this be us? Where did we go wrong? Is this like just like an ultimate failure, and like where the Jets really got to look back now and go, what are we doing? Clearly this guy's got talent. Clearly he's been able to lead two different teams to 14-win seasons in back-to-back years as a starter and playing well. You can't blame the wins on just the defense or just the run game. Like, he's done well. Jackson Smith and Jigba has been absolutely unbelievable playing with Sam Darnold. You know what I mean? Like, he's had a great year. They didn't miss a beat when losing DK Metcalf. And by the way, tell me he's not kicking himself right now.
Yeah, first round exit or going to the Super Bowl. Yeah, I mean, but he got to play with Aaron Rodgers, so I mean, I guess he can put that on his resume one day.
Yeah, but he's not going to be able to put that Super Bowl title on there, and I think something the Seahawks, not to preview next week, but could be looking at. So I mean, it was a really close game. This game to me was tight all the way through, and then it's one of those games where you talked about in the first game, you like a defensive battle. I love it when the game starts off great, but then you get that defensive battle. The game started great. You look at the fourth quarter, though, nobody scored in the fourth. No points in the fourth quarter. Why? Because defenses got involved. They started it. The pressure started to mount. And I think, they can play defense, both of those teams, the Rams and the Seahawks. So, I mean, I think you got part of that defense. I think you got the whole package in that game. You got big explosive plays. You got a close game that came down to a couple decisions. And you got what ended up being, in the end, a defensive battle to keep it tight in the end.
So, yeah, no, overall, I thought it was a great game. And, it's funny. Like, when the game started, I was saying to Amanda, I'm like, I really don't have a rooting interest in this. Like, I guess, technically I'm rooting for the Rams because I picked the Rams to make it to the Super Bowl. But, like, at the same time, I realized, and I was reminded by the commentary and tweets, that DeMarcus Lawrence went to Seattle. And when he left Dallas, he said, Dallas will always be my home, but I'm never winning a Super Bowl there. And in his first year in Seattle, off to the Super Bowl he goes, and I'd say he's on the betting favorite team to win the Super Bowl. And I think that what's funny is most Cowboys fans, when he said that, got a little butthurt, but they were butthurt by the fact that they knew he was right.
Yeah,
and it's funny when you sit there and you talk, but you actually have that chance to back up your words. And I think that's exactly what ended up happening. And I ended up rooting for Seattle as the game went on because I was reminded of that.
And also, I'm just going to throw out there that, I mean, Seattle's front office, man, a lot of credit's got to be given to them. And I say that because to know when to jump off of the Pete Carroll bandwagon, to know when to ship Geno Smith off with him, even though they both, Geno Smith had a good year in Seattle the year he was there. And then he that's the whole reason the Raiders gave him a contract. That's the whole reason the Raiders tried to make them, instead he followed Pete Carroll to with the Raiders, and the Seahawks end up getting better from that. Got away from the coach who brought them to a Super Bowl, and yet look at that. What, 3 years later, they're back in the Super Bowl. Got rid of, a quarterback who was, being successful with them to bring in a guy like Sam Darnold and still have that success and even have more success. I think there's got to be some credit to that front office for knowing when and where to hold on to some pieces again. Didn't hurt them getting rid of DK Metcalf. Didn't hurt them doing some of the moves they've made. It actually maybe helped them as a team. And I just think a lot of credit has to be given to that Seattle front office.
Oh, 100%. And I mean, they really, and you got to give credit to, I think it's McDonald's head coach. Right, yeah. Like, you got to give credit to him. Like, I mean, he had them competing for that division last year with Geno Smith, and then you go from Geno Smith to Sam Darnold. And I think when the season started, we would have agreed that's nothing more than a lateral move.
Absolutely. When the season started, again, Sam Darnold looked like a one and done. Looked like he was okay. Well, he had one great year with the Vikings, but what's he going to do now? And he's rolled it into a second great year.
Yeah, and props to him, like you said, getting out of quarterback hell in New York, and then you go to Carolina and you pretty much continue to realize that your career is not going anywhere, and then you go to Minnesota, you go to an offensive minded coach, you capitalize on his ability to put you in a situation to succeed, and then you realize they drafted a guy that was supposed to be, to have your job, and it was going to be his job when the new season started. You go to Seattle and you keep your head up and you believe in yourself and look where you end up, right? And it's props to him, man. There's really no other way to put it. I think, and the coaching staff, the front office. I mean, you got a guy like Jackson Smith and Jigba in the third or fourth round, who is without a doubt going to be, one of the top wide receivers in the league for the next several years. Like they've just done a good job putting together their draft picks with free agent moves, and that coach is a hell of a great coach too.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And again, just shout out to the front office for knowing when to hold them and knowing when to fold them. Because definitely worked out
Must
in
be
their
nice.
favor, right? So that being said, though, I mean, I think that kind of dipping us into the front office is going to dip us into the news of the last 2 weeks, and that's been the coaching carousel, the hirings, the firings, just unbelievably stupid firings of some people. And we can get into it right now. I mean, overall, there's a bunch of them that we knew were coming, so we don't have to dive too far into them. The Stefanskis, the McDaniels, all the people out there, we knew they were getting fired. Couple that didn't, though, and a couple that really shocked me over the last 2 weeks. One was the Ravens firing Harbaugh, but we talked about that, and awesome hire by the Giants. We'll get into that. Number two, really the one that we didn't talk about and we didn't get a chance to talk about last week was Mike Tomlin deciding, him and the team, parting ways. And then after that, Sean McDermott with Buffalo. They've, can't seem to get over the hump. We get that. But is it really McDermott's fault? Maybe, maybe not. We can get into it. But those were the three to me. The Giants hiring Harbaugh, which I think is a great hire for them. We've talked about it. Brings instant stability to the team. Instant, just rights the ship, just gets everything going back in a positive direction. It's just instant credibility, instant accountability back in the locker room, and somebody we know we're going to have for more than a few years. We're not getting rid of Harbaugh after a year or two. Not going to happen. So,
No.
really, really pumped up about that hire. I think the Giants could go from like a worst to first type situation, but we'll talk about that as things progress. That being said, though, the biggest one to me is Tomlin. 19 years, never had a losing season. Won two Super Bowls in 19 years. It was 2, right?
One.
Okay,
They won
so
one and
Cowher got
lost
one.
another
Yeah,
one.
okay, yeah. So he got to 2, won 1. That's what I meant. Okay. I get that they've been 0-9 in their last 9 playoff games. But that's not all Tomlin. And the guy does nothing but consistently win with whatever you decide to give him. The guys, I think, had 5 or 6 different starting quarterbacks the last 5 or 6 years. You know what I mean? Like, he has a different starting quarterback. I think it's the last 5 years he's had 5 different starting quarterbacks to start the season. It's insane. Stupidity. And then you expect the guy to keep winning, and he does. And he keeps getting you to the playoffs. But then you're surprised when you get beat in the playoffs because you don't have the talent that the rest of the league has.
Well, and it's the double-edged sword of his success, right? Like, no losing seasons, consistently making the playoffs, which in turn means you're not getting the high, you're getting mid to late draft picks, which means you got less, you're not getting those pretty much blue chip players coming out of school that sets you up to be able to potentially change things around or get that quarterback or, whatever it might be. But that to me isn't Tomlin's fault. It's the GM and the scouting department that are making these picks and not really.
You want a tinfoil hat theory?
Oh, I'm all in.
All right. Hear me out on this. So it just seemed like, and again, I got to go back and check the timeline, but the more I'm thinking about this, tell me it doesn't make a little bit of sense for you. I believe Harbaugh got hired after Tomlin stepped down.
Yeah, the Steelers could have interviewed him.
No. I'm not talking about that. I'm saying the other way around. I think Harbaugh, that's when he decided to take the Giant job, is because he was like, I don't want Tomlin coming in here and interviewing with them, possibly screwing this up. Like, if I want this job, I'm going to take this job now before he even interviews. Like, I think that's what happened.
I mean, from everything I've heard, Tomlin's speech was that he wanted to step back from the game and take a year off.
Yeah,
I mean,
everybody says that, but tell me you wouldn't interview.
I'm just saying that's what came. That's what came out of the meeting room where he gave his speech. So, it's always sources, right? It's not, oh, this specific player told me he said this, right? It's sources tell me this is part of what his messaging was to the team. But the bottom line is, I mean, I can't put that tinfoil hat on with you, but I think Tomlin is going to be able to take a year off, go in the TV, just take a break, whatever the hell he wants to do. And next hiring cycle, he'll be a top candidate all over again. So I don't think he has any risk of losing the respect that he has or the want that teams have of him to be the head coach of their football team. So it'll be interesting to see. But Pittsburgh fans that were calling for him to be fired,
they're going to rue the day.
they're
It's the
going to
same
learn one
people
hell
in
of a
Baltimore
lesson.
that were calling for Harbaugh. Listen, I'm telling you from experience. I did this with Tomlin. I was one of those guys that said, he's ran his course. Oh, he said the guys aren't listening to him. He's lost the locker room. He's this, he's that. Like, we need a new voice. We need this. And I've regretted it ever since. And I'm man enough to admit that. I'm man enough to sit here and say I was wrong. And when I was calling for him, I was wrong for doing so. Shouldn't have done it. Because I long for the days of Tomlin, and that's what Harbaugh brings back. It's kind of, to me, this move is similar to a move that, like, when Andy Reid left Philly and went to Kansas City. This is like a similar move, in my opinion. Like, I feel like he's moving, but he's still a good coach. He's still one of the better coaches around. He's still leading what do you have, 11 or 12 seasons with 11 wins or more in Baltimore? Like, I think we're going to be all right in New York. Happy about that. But
Yeah, I don't think you're going to be.
I think Tomlin's going to
mad
be
that you
coaching
guys
sooner
hired him.
rather than later. I think there's going to be a team out there that decides this, and we're going to make a move, and we're going to try and push our chips all in to get this guy. Because when you have a track record like that, and he's still young, he started head coaching in his early 30s. He's not even in his mid 50s yet.
Oh yeah, no, he's got. I mean, the way how late these coaches coach, he's got another good 15, 20 years
He's
of
got
coaching
10
if he
years on
wants to take.
Harbaugh at least, because I think Harbaugh's 62 or 63, maybe even 64. Got at least 10
Well,
years.
yes. Oh yeah, no, Harbaugh is like early mid-60s. I mean, Pete Carroll, I know he just got fired, but Pete Carroll was in his like 73. I mean, he was a healthy 73, but he was still 73.
It's true. It's true. So, I mean, out of all these hirings and firings, so what is your thoughts on the Giants hire of Harbaugh? And then also, out of any of the other moves we haven't talked about yet, any of them surprise you? What's the one that surprised you the most?
I mean, I think first and foremost, the hiring of Harbaugh for the Giants is a home run, right? I mean, maybe next year isn't,
They're
a
predicting
Super
like
Bowl
9 wins, I
contending
think.
year.
So for next year, like to go from a 4-win team to a 9-win team or whatever it is, like people feel better about that. I feel good about that. If they can get to 9-10 wins next year, I'm a happy Giant fan.
Yeah, I mean, it's all going to be based off of the development of Dart, right? I mean, I think it's the second year as a rookie as a quarterback is always your hardest year. So,
Tell that to
how
Drake
he
May, who's
handled.
on his way to the Super Bowl, though.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying, like that. That's always been my thought. I've always felt the second year is your hardest year as a quarterback. So, if he develops and continues to grow, and you put Harbaugh in that locker room, and look, the one thing that nobody can deny is Harbaugh gets the most out of what he has to work with, and we talked about this at the beginning of this season, right? The Giants have talent, right? They needed a little more consistency from their offensive line, which they got, right? And this year, what let them down was their defense, specifically in late game situations, and also their pass rush wasn't everything you expected it to be. They had shining moments. The consistency, especially again in the late parts of the games, was where the problem was. So, with that
Apparently,
said,
they've
though, yeah,
hired forget whether it's the backs coach or something. They hired somebody from Baltimore to be the D coordinator now, I believe. And they hired the
Okay.
Munkin followed him over from Baltimore as well. So they've gotten the pieces around him, I think.
Yeah, so I think the Giants are gonna be just fine. Obviously, health is the last aspect of it, and that's for every single team in the NFL. So, but no, I think that's a home run. I was very surprised to see McDermott get fired in Buffalo. I can understand the reasoning behind it, but if you're going to say he's the reason they lost that game, I mean, your Superman quarterback had 5 turnovers. Like he
Yeah, and
missed
then
a
they
wide
promoted
open
the
throw.
OC to head coach.
Yeah, I mean, he had an open touchdown throw that would have won them the game in regulation. He like that. Josh Allen is just as much to blame as anybody in that entire organization for that loss. Probably more. So I was a little surprised to see McDermott get fired, but he'll be fine. He'll get another head coaching job. I wouldn't be surprised if the Raiders scoop him up. I think that's where he ends up. But that one surprised me. Them promoting Brady to be their head coach didn't surprise me. Dallas stealing the Eagles' defensive pass game, and secondary coach or something to be their defensive coordinator. Look, I have no idea how this kid's going to be defensive coordinator. There's 2 things I like about the hire, and just because I like these things could mean absolutely nothing for this guy's career as a defense coordinator. But I like the fact that it's a change from the norm for Dallas. So they didn't go hire a former Cowboy player or former Cowboy coach or some guy that had some relationship with the Cowboys or, an ex head coach. They went with and the other part is that they went with somebody young and new, right? And, you look at Sean McDermott, right? He's been to 3 NFC championship games and a Super Bowl in the last 5 or 6 years, right? You look at the head coach in Seattle, he's in his late 30s, early 40s, right? Like the NFL coaching tree is getting younger, and you you gotta adjust to that because you gotta keep with the times, right? So I know absolutely nothing about the guy other than those couple things and that he coached for the Eagles, and that's it. So, but I think Tennessee jumped the gun, taking what's his name?
Dable?
No,
Because they did hire Dable, you know that, right? They hired him as the offensive
yeah, as their
coordinator.
offensive coordinator.
I was like,
Oh
really?
my god, why am I forgetting his name now? He was the head coach of the Jets and the defensive coordinator for the 49ers this year.
Yeah, Sala,
Bald,
Sala,
bald
Sala,
head,
Sala,
solid. Thank
Sala.
you. Yeah, bald. Yeah, there we go. So I thought they rushed that. I think they could have went a better route personally. I mean, I think there was some other options out there. I don't think
Really? Because I
Sala
thought
really
the one you
fits.
wouldn't have liked, and not to interrupt you, but the one I thought you wouldn't have liked the most, and that the one you would have liked the least would probably be McCarthy with Pittsburgh.
Oh, I mean, I think by all means, like I said, Pittsburgh's going to in for a reality check. But I'm not surprised Pittsburgh hired him. He's born and raised in Pittsburgh, grew up in Pittsburgh. He's a Pittsburgh guy. And I think the other thing that helps the Steelers, if you want to try and put a positive spin on it, is he's not going to be the coach for the next 10, 20 years. What you're hoping for is he helps, that he hires a good staff and somebody that maybe you can bring up behind him. But yeah, no, if you're the people I know that are Steelers fans are not happy at all about that.
No, I mean, I can't imagine that you would be happy about that. I mean, I get he's a hometown guy. I get you, he's all Pittsburgh, but stop it. Like, come on. He's got a track record, and the last, 13, 14 years, it hasn't been good. Like, this isn't like, a Tomlin who's got all these winning seasons, or even like a Harbaugh who you could look at and say, well, listen, he's had a lot of really good years. McCarthy really hasn't had that many great years in the last 12 years. Like 2011, 12 is when he won with Green Bay. Like since then, it
I
hasn't
think
been the best
12, yeah.
run. Since then, it hasn't been the best run for him.
I mean, he had 3 back-to-back 12-win seasons in Dallas. I mean, that's a good year. It didn't amount to anything in the playoffs, but
Yeah, but that's like 3 out of the
yeah.
last, like I said, 12 years. Like where Harbaugh's
Oh
won
yeah.
10, 10 times, won at least 11 games, been to the playoffs every, it seems like a different bar should be where McCarthy is. Like, and I just don't know how, if you're a Pittsburgh fan, you can get pumped about McCarthy after Tomlin. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, to me, hard to get, like, I'd want to hear
Well,
from
I
an
think
actual Steelers fan, though, about it, to see how they
I
feel.
I
Maybe they
think
are pumped.
yeah. Look, I think the other side of it too, right? If you're a Steelers fan, is I don't really know if there's many names out there that you would have been thrilled about after the 19 years with Tomlin. But I mean, there's also a lot of Steelers fans out there that weren't thrilled when Tomlin got hired because nobody knew who the hell he was. So you never know. It's just like players, right? Like you never know what things are going to turn into. But yeah, I don't think the McCarthy hire is anything other than we wanted to put a bigger name in there because it just is a team. You look at that roster, and what are they bringing to the table that scares opposing teams on either side of the ball? Honestly, they're scariest players like that really could win a game in the clutch. It's probably their kicker. So you do with that what you will. But I mean, if you really look that roster top to bottom, there's nobody on there that scares you.
No,
So
I agree.
maybe McCarthy's basically hired as the same coach. I don't know. There's not much there to be excited about.
No, I can't imagine there is. But yeah, so I had to get into some of those hirings, firings. It's been a weird coaching carousel. I think over 10 or 12 teams that had coaching changes, head coaching changes. I think it was 10.
Yeah, it was a little over a third of the league. I think it was like I think it was like 11 or 12 teams.
Wow. Yeah, listen, that's a big change. Anytime you're changing over a third of the league, that's a big deal. So we'll have to see how it plays out next year. I always think there's some year one magic with teams, so you never know what we're gonna see. I think one of these teams is gonna kind of shoot out of the gate and have a great year. Just gonna have to wait and see who that team is and how they react to the new coaches. But yeah, and I'm going out on a limb, and I'm gonna say I'll die on this hill. I think Tomlin's a head coach again by, you know, he might take this year off. He's not taking 2 years off. He'll be, even if it's a 1 year, it's just 1 year. I think he's back, and somebody brings him back by next season. So that's, or the end of next season. You know what I mean? Like when the next Black Monday comes, I think he'll be in that hiring class there of probably looking at the best job available. If he wants it. So, but I think he'll be back. I think it'll be a 1 year if he is out for even 1 year.
Yeah, I don't think he's out long.
No, but
like I said, I go to this year, and that's that.
That's going to bring us to our final topic of the day. Knuckleheaded News of the Week. And I'm going to bring this up because I got to get your opinion on it. Because I'm surprised. I'm going to give you my opinion on it first. Because it is Knuckleheaded News of the Week to me. And I got to see how you frame it. Because I understand, and we're not going to reiterate it. Trust me, I promise. We're not going to rehash what we've already done with the Eli thing. But it's very similar to the Eli thing where, to me, how the hell does Bill Belichick, who I hate the Patriots, I'm not a Patriot fan, I'm not a Bill Belichick fan at all, whatsoever. Never rooted for him a day in my life. How is he not a Hall of Famer? And I'm not talking about just his coaching credentials with the Patriots, but I mean, he has 2 as defensive coordinator for the Giants. He has more accolades than most coaches out there. He's won more Super Bowls than anybody. I get the Spygate thing, and apparently that's the big thing everybody, the writers and other people were hung up on, because apparently he fell 2 votes short. You needed 40 out of 50 votes. He only got 38 votes. But how the hell is Bill Belichick not a first ballot Hall of Famer? I'm going to die on this hill, Dave.
Yeah.
The same way I died on the Eli one, I'm dying on this hill. He is a Hall of Famer, is a Hall of Famer, is a Hall of Famer. He's as Hall of Fame as Hall of Fame coaches get. If he's not in on the first ballot, then I'm sorry, no coach gets in on the first ballot. And if this is the way that the grading system is going to go, and this is the way that they treat the getting into the Hall of being gatekeepers and punishing him for a year and then, to be honest, they got to revamp the whole system because this is absolutely absurdly ridiculous. You can argue the Eli point. I'll give you that. You can argue it. There's an argument there to be made for both sides. There's no argument, in my opinion, for Bill Belichick. I may hang up the phone if you tell me Bill Belichick's not a Hall of Famer. I'll be honest. I'm like, and I hate to say that, but like, I don't know how we would reconcile this. Like right now, I know we would, and we'd be fine. But like right now, I don't know if I can emotionally or physically take it. Like how? Like, please tell me you believe that Bill Belichick is a Hall of Famer.
Oh my God, Erich, you've said some funny shit. I was up there, my man. I'm just gonna hang up the phone. Like, bro, we're done. Like, Dave, I need 2 weeks off from you. We'll talk. We'll talk after the Super Bowl. Like, bro, I need. The next time I talk to you, you're just going to sit there and listen to me talk about baseball and fucking deal with it because you said this. Oh, shit, that was good. No, I 100% agree with you. I don't know how you justify it. And if you're going to try and justify it, then put your name to your vote.
Absolutely.
Right? And I think that is one of the biggest things with this. And it you know what it kind of reminds me of social media, right? You got all these keyboard warriors and all these tough guys that say all these things, but if they were face to face with you, wouldn't say it, right? So if you're not going to vote for somebody like Bill Belichick to be a first ballot Hall of Famer as a coach, then you should have to man up and explain your reasoning. I'm not saying you got to write me a book, but at least a statement. Like, I didn't vote for Bill because of XYZ. But even then, I'd call you a freaking moron because, like you said, right, it's not just what he did with New England. It's not just what he did with Tom Brady, right? As a defensive coordinator for the Giants, think about how he helped Lawrence Taylor develop and help him become the player he became. Think of some of the other players that he coached and the Hall of Famers that he
also
helped
took
coach.
The Browns to an 11-win season.
And he won, 12, 13 games with Matt Castle as his quarterback.
11 that season, and missed the playoffs, but it was because it was a weird year where, like, it's a tiebreaker thing or whatever.
Miami.
But still, yeah.
Miami had
But still, like, 11-5 without Brady. Yeah, I'm with you,
Think of, what was it, Troy Brown? Like, he just decided Troy Brown should play defense and offense, and it helped them win the Super Bowl. Like, he had a guy like Mike Vrabel who wasn't the most athletic man in the world. He utilized his strengths and got him to be one of the better linebackers in the, like, Rodney Harrison. Like, you sit here, like, Ty Law, you just keep going on and on, right? The coaching tree that he helped expand and guys that he helped, bring up and get head coaching jobs and coordinator jobs and all these different things. Like, it's just, there's so much more to it than just simply, he won, 8 Super Bowls, right? Like, he's done so much more. He's helped the game. I mean, it's he Deflategate, right? Whatever.
Deflategate wasn't even him. Deflategate was Tom Brady. Deflategate, that was, believe it or not, that wasn't Belichick. That was Brady. Brady was the one accused of going to the equipment managers and all that. It wasn't Belichick. Belichick was Spygate. Spygate was definitely Belichick. And that's what people were saying. But apparently Bill Polian was one of the people in the room today, and he was one of the ones arguing against or punishing Bill for a year for that. And again, if you got people in the room that are sitting there going, you shouldn't vote for him because like again, and then it was Eric Mangini, right? That blew up that whole thing and made it into a
Yeah.
thing. But other teams are doing it too. It wasn't the Patriots got caught, but other teams are doing it too. You know what I mean? Like it was one of those things. So I
Well, and you
just
mentioned Mangini. Mangini wouldn't have been a head coach if he didn't learn under Bill Belichick. He
yep.
wasn't a great head coach, but he wouldn't have been a head coach if it wasn't for Belichick.
Look at what Vrabel's doing now with New England after playing under Belichick. Just
Yeah.
saying. So it's
Yeah,
one of
no.
those things that
No reasoning.
no reasoning. And if again, put your name to it. I love that you said that. Thank you for saying that because I didn't say that. But I absolutely love that point. You shouldn't be able to do this shit anonymously. It's like the two people that didn't vote, or the one person that didn't vote for Jeter. You know what I mean? Like, or to be that guy, just to be that guy. Put your name on it. Say why. You don't do those things, though. Nobody does those things. Everybody wants to hide behind that, anonymous. And I get pissed about that, even in my own life, on social media. Like, on just like the town page, when people post things anonymously, it's like, if you have a problem with something, or if you're saying something, put your name on it. What's wrong with that?
No.
I don't understand people who just, oh no, I'm worried about the backlash. If you're so worried about the backlash, then why are you saying anything at all? Like, I'm sorry, but again, you shouldn't have that kind of power if you're not willing to put your name on it. You shouldn't have that kind of ability if you're not willing to stand behind your vote and your conviction. If you didn't vote for him, you should be able to tell us why.
Hey, you're impacting this person's life. Like, it's not like they get like some big fat check for making the Hall of Fame, but when you're a professional athlete or just are involved and work in professional athletics in general, right? It's you put your heart and soul into it day in and day out, and you just want to be recognized for what you did.
Absolutely.
You don't like, getting into the Hall of Fame is supposed to be the top of the top, right? Like, there's when you climb Mount Everest, there's multiple stops on Everest, right? Not most people, well, really most people don't go all the way to the final, stop, right? Oh, that's when you look at the Hall of Fame, that's the idea, right? Only a handful of people are supposed to get into this. It's not, right? We used to talk about Hall of the really good, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I want the Hall of Fame to be as restrictive as possible, but there are just some sure things. And Bill Belichick in the first ballot is about as sure thing as that's like somebody saying they didn't vote for Michael Jordan to get in the first time.
Yeah, it
Right?
just
Or
doesn't
Phil
make
Jackson,
any sense.
right? Yeah, it just don't make sense. Greg Popovich, right? Like,
and again, I don't want to hear the narrative either that like he's okay with it. Oh, whatever. I know for a fact, that it upset Eli that he didn't get in last year. It kind of bothered him. It sucked. It depressed him a bit. It kind of like was like, And again, I know there was an argument for him not getting in, but still, he was upset again because, like you talked about, everybody wants that recognition. You play the game to hopefully one day get that recognition. You can't tell me that Bill Belichick tonight is not upset. You cannot tell me that he isn't depressed a little bit, down a little bit, and going, really, guys? Like, really? Pour my heart and soul into this game for 40 years now? Almost 45 years, and you decide to kick me in the dick now? Like, I don't understand it. Like, and as fans, I don't understand. Like, we don't understand it. Players out there don't understand it. If you look at the social media backlash from this, nobody out there understands this move. And because a couple whiny bitch writers didn't like him because, again, he was short in the interviews and he didn't, he wasn't the most personable guy up on the microphone. These jackwagons now decide, well, we're going to penalize him a year for that. Sorry. Got to revamp the system. Got to be a new way to do this. These people do not deserve the power they have.
No.
If this is what they do with it.
Yeah. And again, right, if you're going to do it, then you should own it.
Own it. Put your name on it. Like, and there should be no issue with that. Like, again, if you're all there voting and we know you're voting, like, why can't you just put your name on your vote?
Yeah.
Sorry. It is what it is, but it's just one of those things that He's not getting in this year. And it's one of those things where you could talk about, first ballot Hall of Famer. It doesn't matter anymore. First ballot or not, a Hall of Famer is a Hall of Famer is a Hall of Famer, and Bill Belichick's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. And I guarantee that's what people close to him are saying, too.
Well, that's what everybody's saying to him. Listen, everybody's calling him now going, Bill, this is BS, man. We know you're a Hall of Famer. You're getting in just, sorry it's not this year, but, we'll all be there for you when you get in. Like, I guarantee you he's getting a million of those calls today. And I hate to say that because I'm not a Belichick fan. I just sat here for, the last 10, 15 minutes? We bloviated about the guy that I can't stand. You know what I mean? Like, this is like, it is the exact analogy of Jordan. If not putting Jordan in, it would be stupid. I'm a Knick fan. I hated Jordan in the 90s. Absolutely despised him. Why? Because he took my team out year after year. Wasn't a fan of that. Sorry. But at the same time, can't deny that man is one of the greatest of all time and absolutely belongs in the Hall of Fame. And anybody who says different, again, should have your credentials taken away.
Yep.
I don't trust their opinion. If you're under the opinion that Bill Belichick's not a Hall of Famer, then I'm good on your opinion. I don't think I ever need to hear your opinion on anything again.
I wonder if the NFL could step in and overrule it. Like, nah, he's in.
They should. Even if it's the owners that go to Goodell and say, "Listen, as an ownership group, we're putting them in. This is stupid. We hear the fans, we hear the players, putting them in."
Yeah.
Should happen.
That'd be cool.
Not going to happen, but should happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my friend, we're a week and a half from the Super Bowl. I'm looking forward to talking about it with you next week. I think we'll do a little dive into the game pretty deep, but the belly's rumbling.
Yeah, no, I mean that's all we had anyway for tonight. I think we can end on that note, but yeah, we're just gonna have to agree that Belichick definitely a Hall of Famer. So I'm glad we agree on that, my friend. I'm glad that we were able to finish the conversation and agree on that, because if you would have told me Belichick wasn't a Hall of Famer, I would have just fallen on the floor.
Bro, if you hung up on me, I would have just sat here stunned, like a teenage boy getting hung up on by a girl, bro. For real.
Well, anyway, buddy. Till next week. Why don't you tell them where they can find you, and we'll wrap this thing up.
Currently freezing my ass off in my garage, but other than that, D Hastings 23 on Instagram, David Hastings 23 on X, formerly known as Twitter.
Awesome, my friend. You can follow me at The Living Legend on X. You can follow Louis at Louis Ozzy Dude on Instagram, our unofficial third co-host, who, because you're not here tonight, didn't want to join me either in the studio. So he stayed downstairs the entire time, believe it or not, because Dave wasn't here, so he didn't have somebody to jump and get excited about. So follow him at Louis Ozzy Dude. You can follow me at Living Legend. You can follow us at Champscast. That's Champs with a Z on Facebook, on TikTok, and on YouTube. And pretty soon we will be streaming live on TikTok and Facebook as well. So we'll be simulcast in 3 different spots. Should be awesome. Looking forward to doing that in the next month or so. So working out some details. Been talking to Tim about it. Thank you. Shout out to Tim, who's always helping me out. Shout out to Carl's dad. Shout out to Marissa, Amanda. Shout out to Steph if she's drifting off into La La Land, but maybe if she heard your voice go up a pitch or two, shout out to her as well. Shout out to Mama Age, shout out to Janice, shout out to everybody who shows us love and support. Chris, John, anybody else out there listening, we appreciate you guys way more than you know, so thank you so much. Please subscribe, follow, share, do all those free fun things for us. And until next time, live like a champ, and definitely don't feel like Bill Belichick, because I think he feels a little like that.
No, I thought it generally sucked. I didn't think it was a specific suck. I thought it was like an all-encompassing type of suck. So, we're going to try and rectify that. But for right now, I'm going to be pretty pissed about it.
Oh, man. All right.